What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and as you probably know, for the first time in possibly even a few years, we've just had a full week of being able to use Mega and Primal Pokemon in the Master League. And at first, it was awesome, it felt so refreshing, but it quickly became clear that most Mega Pokemon just could not compete with the insane stats of the top 4 or 5 options, and let's be honest, it got stale real quickly. But what if you use Mega Pokemon in the other leagues? Well, in today's video, we're going to be looking to see what it'd be like if you could use Mega Pokemon in the Open Great League, as I challenged my subscribers who were also told to bring a Mega Pokemon on each team. Now, I actually did over 30 battles in total, featuring a unique Mega in every single battle, but I'm going to be splitting this video into 2 parts, and I'm really going to need you guys to show some support, because typically non-GBL videos, they just don't perform anywhere near as well as regular GBL content. So if you do appreciate the effort that went into this video, the resources that went into building all of the Great League eligible Mega Pokemon, not only from me, but all of the opponents that I also faced in the video, please make sure you leave a like on this video. And if you're on mobile, then you can also hype the video too, as that really does help. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Which Mega Pokemon do you think has the best aesthetics? Let me know in the comment section down below. And with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, starting into the first battle, leading Regieleki into Braixen. So you can see I've got Gallade and Mega Gallade in the backline. Unfortunately, if we did ever see a Mega Great League available, this team would not be eligible, because you cannot run the same Pokemon and its Mega Evolution on the same team, which means unfortunately basically all of the teams that I'm going to showcase in this video would not be eligible, as I basically ran all of them as ABB style teams. But anyways, back into the commentary for this battle. We're going straight for close combat, grabbing the final shield from the Shadow Palkia. I'm going to come back in with the Regieleki here and basically just force them to use their energy. They do throw straight away, which is fine with me. Unfortunately, Regieleki will not be able to tank an Arquitel, so we go down, but now we come in with Mega Gallade. I'm able to outpace them to the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade, huge damage. It gets the KO there. They come in with their own Mega Fighting and Psychic type Pokemon. They swap back. Strange animation there, but they swap back to catch a charge move, but unfortunately for them, it does not work out. We get the farm down. We've got close to back-to-back Leaf Blades, and something about Mega Medicham, it's not anywhere near as bulky as the regular version of Medicham, meaning 2 Leaf Blades easily will be taking out the Medicham there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we're going to see Hippopotas into a Shadow Alola Marowak. So this is a great lead matchup for me. The opponent say swaps into Shadow Amaldo, and something else I do want to mention, I did actually say to my subscribers, if they could bring spicier Pokemon, then to do so. So that's why you will see some very wacky teams, both on my end and on the opponent's end. We go for Rock Tomb. The opponent does not respect the damage. I guess grabbing a shield advantage works out for them. They're going to come back in with the Marowak, and I can just barely reach a Rock Tomb. This should allow me to live even a Shadow Bone from this range. So at this point, I will no shield, but unfortunately, my backline is going to be completely walled by the Marowak, but the opponent kind of panic swaps there into their own Mega, a Mega Slowbro. We can go straight for X-Scissor. X-Scissor is going to grab that final shield, and I'm able to reach yet another X-Scissor here. I go for an undercharge. It's not really going to matter too much. X-Scissor still gets the KO. They can still commit to a farm down, and honestly, even though I've got a shield here and I do have a sacrificial swap, this is still going to be very tricky for me. We come in with that Shadow Pinsir, and they are at a charge. I believe they are 2 away from the next Shadow Bone. If they full send the Shadow Bone here, I'm going to swap out, catch that charge move, back onto Hippopotas, and now I still only got double resisted moves to throw, but Shadow Pinsir doesn't care. From this range, even close combat will be enough to take out the Shadow Alola Marowak, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to that opponent there into the next battle, and we're actually going up against the Battle of Spies World Champion, and I thought I'd run his signature Pokemon in the Doduo. Unfortunately, not the best lead for me. I say swap into Shadow Ampharos, and I'm met with Drodagon. They go straight for Night Slash there. We can now fire off back-to-back Brutal Swings. I farmed up to a potential Dragon Pulse, so I do grab a shield there. Next one shouldn't be shielded, as it's not going to do that much damage, and they can Dragon Tail farm me down. Now, this this Pokemon does have access to Rock Tomb, so I'm going to shield. They do just bait with a Night Sash, and now they swap back into Blastoise. We can come in with the Mega Ampharos, and I'm definitely going to shield, respect the damage from an Ice Beam. They do bait with that Hydro Cannon, but we still get the farm down anyways, and let's see what they've got in the back. The opponent is waiting at that switch clock. They come in with a Shadow Salamence here. We've got back-to-back Brutal Swings. We fire off the first one. We do grab that final shield there. Obviously, if we went for Trail Blades, I could have boosted up my attack, and potentially I might have been able to win this game here because we swap back into Dodura. Unfortunately, just barely outpaced to the fly. We can come in with the Ampharos, but unfortunately, one Dragon Tail gets the farm down there, and unfortunately, I do lose that game. But GG's to the trainer into next battle. We're going to see a Rhyhorn in the lead. We've got two Water-type Pokemon, so I will be swapping into Mega Sharpedo. I'm met with a Barrel here, which not really ideal, but they are on Water Gun rather than Rollout, so it is slightly better for me. They're going to be slower to the charge moves, and I am technically resisting the fast move damage, although it does not really look like it. Look at the damage we're taking, but likewise, we can get to a second Poison Fang here. Poison Fang, number 2, gonna get the KO there as they come in with their own a Mega Beedrill. We deal huge damage with those waterfalls. We are now going to come in with the Sharpedo, commit to a full waterfall farm down, and of course, they can fire off the charge move. Doesn't really matter. These waterfalls absolutely shredding through the Rhyhorn. They do reach a charge move, however. They go for Stomp. Stomp gets the KO, and Acid is actually double resisted. But even so, we get the fast move farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up in there into next battle. You can see Cleavor in the lead. So, this is an okay matchup for me. I will just barely outpace them, do the first charge move, and then I'm going to swap into one of my Marwile in the back. And one of them is running Astonish, the other one's running Fairy Wind. I thought this was the one with Astonish, so I swap into Mega Marwile, and unfortunately that's not the case, as they come in with a Mega Shiny Scizor. So at this point, I think I'm just going to no-shield this. I think I do resist all the charge moves, but they will just barely get that farm down there before I reach a second charge move. We can come in with the Shadow Palkia. Am I going to shield this? I'm not going to shield this. Instead, putting it all into the Shadow Marwile. I believe they're going to have a Scyther in the back, and they do. I am double resisting the Fury Cutter damage. I probably need to shield at some point, so I will shield here. They go for a Night Slash, and they get the boost. That is really frustrating, because Night Slash wouldn't have done much damage. It's non-stab and resisted, but now, unfortunately, I have to let this move go through here, and Night Slash is now enough damage to take out the Shadow Marwile, and I end up losing that game. But GG's to opponent there into the next battle. We're going to see a Shadow Xatu into a Mega Absol. So I say swap into Shadow Tyranitar, met with a Mud Slap Shadow XL Grimer. We're going straight for Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing will grab a shield advantage, but they can fully farm it down. Now, if they're on Sludge here, Sludge shouldn't quite get the KO up against my Xatu, but it is going to do huge damage, and they should be one away from back-to-back charge moves. So I no-shield this. It is Sludge. It does huge damage. And at this point, I don't even want to take a single Mud Slap's worth of damage on my Mega Tyranitar, so I do shield here. They swap back into Absol, but they're on Psycho Cut, so I resist the fast move damage. Aerial Ace grabs a shield, the final shield from the opponent. We can come in with that Tyranitar, and worst case scenario, they get two back-to-back Brutal Swings, but they full send a Thunder there, so we can shield once, go for the full farm down. They come in with a Shadow Tentacruel, but we're already at the Stone Edge, and Stone Edge is going to connect. Stone Edge does big damage. One more Smackdown, gets that farm down. Smackdown takes out the Shadow Grimer, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into next battle. You see Slowpoke in the lead up against our Kabuto. So, interesting XL teams here. We are going to fire off the Rock Team as they do allow me to get there first. Rock Team is going to debuff their attack. It does decent damage, but Slowpoke actually has some pretty good bulk to it. At this point, those confusions have put us into range where a Side Shock will unfortunately get the KO there. I'm now going to come in with my Shadow Charizard as I'm on Dragon Breath. I actually don't know if the other Charizard is on Fire Spin, Dragon Breath, Air Slash. I don't even know. But anyways, they come in with another Slowpoke here. I'm going straight for the Blast Burn. That does decent damage. We now swap into Mega Charizard. And it's quite likely that they've got a Mega Slowbro in the back. So they fire off the Side Shock. We are going to go for a full farm down. We get that farm down there. But unfortunately, I'm not on Air Cutter, so I cannot bait. Lowest energy charge move I've got is going to be a Dragon Claw, which is stab here, so it is a decent move. But Dragon Claw is going to grab a shield. We can fire off another Dragon Claw, but they can just double shield if they want to. Actually, maybe even let that go through. They do let it go through, and it's going to be very close, but Shadow Charizard just barely not able to get that full farm down. Ice Beam gets the KO there, and unfortunately, I do lose that game. But GG's up in there into next battle and see Greninja in the lead up against our Hisuian Zoroark. So I'm forced to say swap into Lopunny, and I'm going to no shield. Lopunny has some decent bulk to it. Mega Lopunny, on the other hand, definitely does not. But anyways, they swap into Tentacruel, and I'm full sending a Hyper Beam. Do they respect the damage here? Hyper Beam does huge damage, but they can actually go for an incredibly aggressive full farm down there, coming out with basically 100 energy. It's certainly not ideal for me, but we can come in with the Zoroark. It's useless up against Greninja, so I will just no shield here. Scald doesn't quite get the KO there, so I do force them to expend all of their energy, which is definitely what I wanted. We're now going to put both our shields and our faith into Mega Lopunny and see what it can do. They come in with a Mega Charizard of their own. I'm going straight for Triple Axle, looking to boost up my attack, but unfortunately Double Kick, not the hardest hitting fast move, generates decent energy here, but we just cannot keep up with the fast move damage from these Dragon Breaths. We're going straight for Triple Axle number 2. I need to keep on boosting that attack stat, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be enough for us. We commit to the farm down, but it's actually us who gets farmed down, and unfortunately I do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there into the next battle. See another Mega Charizard, this time the other form. They say swap into a Galarian Moltres, and so far I am completely core breaking their team. I go for Rock Slide. Rock Slide grabs the shield. I've also just noticed they're on Wing Attack as well, so resisting the fast move, but they go for Ancient Power, so potentially this was a Moltres built quite a while ago that they just haven't used in a while. Either way, Rock Slide gets the KO there. I'm now swapping into Garchomp. They come back in with that Charizard before swapping into Metang, and this is fine with me. I'm not baiting here. I'm full sending the Earth Power. Earth Power does big damage. I don't need to shield this. I can save both my shields for the shiny Mega Garchomp, which, by the way, a huge upgrade on the shiny for that Garchomp. We can now just go straight for a Sand Tomb. Sand Tomb is going to debuff their defense, which means this should be a very comfortable Dragon Tail farm down up against this Mega Charizard. We can just safely shield here. The next Dragon Tail will connect. It will be taking out that Charizard, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's to opponent there into the next battle. We see Shadow Ho-Oh into Torterra. A great lead for me. The opponent is going to say swap into Mega Gyarados. And I swap into my Sceptile. I thought that was going to be a Mega Sharpedo there, so I swapped into Sceptile. Unfortunately, both hitting for non-stab, super effective damage with the fast moves, which is quite interesting. Since I've grabbed a shield there, I'm just going to no-shield this. Come in with the Mega Sceptile, the Shadow Sceptile, go for the farm down, and they've got a Swirlix. So we're going to go straight for a Leaf Blade here. Leaf Blade is going to do quite a lot of damage into Swirlix. It actually grabs the final shield. They swap back into Torterra, and unfortunately for them, I don't think they're even going to reach a Stone Edge. This certainly is not the Stone Edge. They go for Sand Tomb. They debuff my defense. I don't need to use any shields here. We can go straight for a Sacred Sire, and unfortunately for this XL Swirlix, there's nothing they can do. They've got no shield. Sacred Fire gets the one shot, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top in there into the next battle, a Shadow Malamar in the lead. Not ideal. I'm going to be safe swapping into Mega Banette, but unfortunately they kind of core break my entire team with the Mawar there. They are going to swap, catch a Shadow Ball, fully sacrifice a Shadow Sneasler. At this point, I kind of have to come back in with my Machop. Of course, if I come in with the Shadow Banette, they force both shields, but I can tank even a superpower here. But the opponent full sends a Hyper Beam. I was not expecting that, and unfortunately, unless they've got something incredibly weak to Ghost in the back, there's not a lot that Banette can do. They've got a Mega Charizard once again, and unfortunately, they can just go for a full Fire Spin. Farm down, Shadow Ball grabs that first shield from the opponent. They commit to the farm down, and unfortunately I do lose that game. But into the next battle, we're going to see Smoochum into Mega Blastoise, so not great. Going to be safe swapping into Shadow Manectric, and things go from bad to worse as they come in with a Dark Trio. Like, what even is this? This could not be any worse for us. We are going to grab a shield, however. That was not enough energy for an overheat, but the opponent, I don't know why they shielded that, but either way, we are definitely just going to take advantage of that, use a shield here, and Smoochum should actually be able to outpace them to the next charge move. So I do overfarm, I throw just before they get there. We go straight for that Ice Punch. Ice Punch actually going to grab the final shield. And this one, I've put them into range where I can even farm down with the Thunder Fangs from my Mega Manetrix. So the opponent swarms back into Blastoise just to be farmed down there. They don't even reach the charge move, and they've got an Air Slash Noivern in the back. So whilst I could throw here, there's really no point. Instead, I can just shield once, commit to a full Thunder Fang farm down, and despite the fact that Wild Charge is going to be double resisted up against a Alolan Dug trio, it just does not matter. Wild Charge gets the KO there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on that into next battle. I can see Skrelp into a shiny Shadow Milotic. That is a really cool flex, by the way. We are going to just barely outpace them to a Sludge Bomb, so I will fire this off first. Sludge Bomb, gonna be no-shielded, and the opponent is over-farming massively, potentially on Surf and Hyper Beam, in which case I fire off the Aqua Tail, grab a shield advantage before they swap into Alolan Sandshrew. Now, unfortunately, I thought this Charizard was going to be on Fire Spin. It's not. It's on Dragon Breath, and also I don't have a bait move. I have to full send an Overheat. An Overheat, of course, is going to hit for double super effective damage, but they can just safely shield and then commit to a huge farm down. At this point, I'm waiting at Switch Shot. We come in with the Shadow Charizard, and I'm actually going to shield the first charge move from that threat of a Blizzard, but they bait with a Night Slash, and even worse, they get the boost there, which forces me to swap out, catch the charge move. They actually go for an undercharge there, which is kind of smart, because even if I do reach an Aqua Tail like I do here, Aqua Tail doesn't do much damage, and they commit to a full Powder Snow farm down, so unfortunately for me, not ideal. But then they swap into Mega Heracross. I honestly just didn't see what came in there, and it took me a while to register. Mega Heracross, I go for an undercharge. I should have hit no bulbs there whatsoever to get more farm, and unfortunately, that means they can throw the charge move. They're not boosted anymore, so I do no shield. I have to no shield, but then they reach another charge move. Now I'm just waiting for the opponent to swap back into Milotic, and unfortunately, I'm not able to react in time, and the opponent is going to full send the Hyper Beam. That takes out the Shadow Charizard, and I lose that game. But GG's up on there into next battle. I'm going to see Alakazam in the lead. So the opponent is on Psycho Cut. They throw very late, so even if they've got back-to-back charge moves here, it does not matter. It's Fire Punch, going to grab a shield. We get that full farm down. And again, another Mega Heracross. So interesting. We're going to fire off the Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to be shielded. I swap, but the opponent swaps at the same time into an Electric type. But they don't farm to the Wild Charge. They fire off a Psychic Fangs. That's perfectly fine with me. It does not do much damage. I'm going to fire off the Aqua Tail here. Aqua Tail is going to be shielded by the opponent, and they will once again fire off a Psychic Fangs. So the opponent fires off that charge move. We're going to come in with the Mega Gyarados, get ahead on energy, and once again we're going to see Mega Heracross just has no bulk whatsoever. Aqua Tail does insane damage. We get that Dragon Breath farm down, and at this point, excuse me there, I'm going to no-shield this. Once again, it's not going to be that Wild Charge, so we can go for that Dragon Breath farm down, taking out the Luxray, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into next battle. I see a Purified Trumbeak into Mega Marwar. They're on Ice Fang, which is surprising. Definitely glad I swapped out straight away there. We swap into our Shadow Blaziken, and the opponent's going to come in with a Peck Haunchcrow. So we go straight for that Blaze Kick. We grab a shield there. Counters doing big damage. They do get the farm down, but Haunchcrow nowhere near as spammy as Murkrow. So I can actually shield once and then commit to a full farm down. The opponent full sends a Brave Bird there. We still get off one more peck to farm them down. To come back in with Marwar, I will swap straight away into my Mega Blaziken, and they actually come in with an XL Seal. So this is a really interesting pick. They're on Ice Shard, which is slightly better for me as I do resist it, but they do have access to Aqua Jet. So I'm actually going to shield this just because I need the fast move damage from my counters, but they do actually outpace me to the next charge move. A Mega Blaziken cannot tank an Aqua Jet from that Seal. So at this point, we overfarm to come back in with the Marwar. Those Ice Fangs would do more damage, so we full send the return, and we get to the Drill Peck on the CMP tie, winning CMP up against this Seal. Drill Peck gets the KO there, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top home there into next battle. You can see Smoochum into a Sinistea. That is an insane flex there. We're going to swap into Aerodactyl. And we're being core broken by a Galarian Meowth. What the heck is even this? They fire off the Night Slash. I don't have access to Earth Power, but I do overfarm just a little bit here. Firing off that Rock Slide. Rock Slide is at least going to grab a shield, but my entire team is going to be completely destroyed by an 1170 CP Meowth. So at this point, we come in with the Smoochum. I'm going to no-shield this. I should just barely tank a Night Slash as it is non-stab. I'm going straight for Side Shock. Side Shock might not quite get the KO, but it should put them into farm down range. So now we can come in with the Mega Aerodactyl, and hopefully, well, never mind. They've got Mega Latias in the back. They've got a decent amount of fast move pressure. These rock throws are still hitting harder. They're going to fire for the Aura Sphere. I'm going straight for Ancient Power. I'm hoping for a boost here. Ancient Power is gonna get the KO, but it does not get the boost, and as a result, they can come in, Astonish, farm me down with Sinistea, and I end up losing that game. Insane team from the opponent. But anyways, into, I believe, the final battle of this video, we lead into Bondslide. They swap into Mega Ordino, and unfortunately for this trainer, Mega Ordino is just not a great Pokemon. It needs a better fast move, but I'm gonna go for a Rock Tomb there, swap into my Pidgeot, trying to catch a Charge Move there. I should live even a Hyper Beam, but the opponent is gonna go for a Body Slam. This trainer, by the way, used an Elite TM for that Body Slam on their Mega Ordino. I should still be able to tank this, so I will no shield. They actually go for Dazzling Gleam. That does decent damage, and they snipe with the Bondslide. I lose all of that energy. I realize, yes, of course, it would have been resisted into the Bondslide anyways, but that is definitely not ideal. I fire off the Sand Tombs, and Sand Tombs, such an underwhelming move here. We fire off a second one. It still does not get the KO there. So at this point, I'm going to have to shield this as they fire off the Rock Slide. We do get the full farm down. They're going to swap into a Shadow Trumbeak, and it looks like possibly they're lagging there. I kind of can't tell. But either way, we're going to fire off a Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is going to grab the shield. Now we can come in with Mega Pidgeot. We're doing big damage with the Gust. The opponent tries to catch a Charge Move there. They've got back-to-back Charge Moves stored, but Mega Pidgeot should be winning CMP in this matchup. So I go for the extra Gust. Now I fire off a Feather Dance. This is going to debuff their attack here. Feather Dance is going to grab the final shield. It doesn't really matter as a Rock Blast will still be taking us out there, but we've now put them into range where Sand attacks, get that farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now if you want to take your support to the next level, you can become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments of every video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has become a channel member already. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.